Previously on Balls.
Right, I'm just tweeting that TopOdds Compare, our backers here, put out a great site, what to bet on in sport every weekend, and then the video from BOLLOCKZ goes up on their site, topodds.com. But a couple of weeks ago, a man called Leon Petzer, Thumper Pigeon, at Thumper Pigeon on Twitter, watched what we were doing and said, well, he's going to give us 5,000 Rand to bet. The winnings go to charity. If we win, then we keep our stake and we bet on for the next week until we run out of 5,000 Rand. So far, we're all right. We've protected our 5,000 Rand. The first week we did rather well. We made about, I think it was 3,500 Rand for charity by betting on Newcastle to beat Spurs and the Springboks to beat the Welsh. That worked out quite nicely, although Arsenal didn't beat Newcastle, our third bet. Then last weekend we went for the Springboks to win by more than 15 points against Scotland, and they did. But we also said that Sweden might get a 0-0 draw in Portugal. They didn't. Ronaldo got a late goal. It nearly worked. There was a lot of Twitters flying around about it with Thumper Pigeon and TopOdds don't compare, but Ronaldo got a late goal. So we didn't win that bet, but we won one, lost one. So we live to fight another day. We live to make more money for Wings of Change. I'm not sure exactly how our account stands, but I think we must be about 3,000 or 4,000 in profit for Wings of Change, our Balls Radio charity. We're going to speak to Len, aren't we, today, about our TopOdds Compare bets this week. And there's some fascinating stuff around. We'll also speak to Leon Petzer. He always has a rugby bet, and I've noticed, Leon, if you're listening, that your rugby bets so far are 2 out of 2, 2 from 2. South Africa playing France this weekend. I don't think I'm going to go for a 15-point advantage there. I'm going to go for a straightforward win for South Africa against France in Paris. It'll be tougher than Scotland and Wales, I think. Although I haven't seen a lot of France this year. The French side, the most in England, the Guinness Premiership is capped. There's a wage cap of £2.5 million annually. In France, there is no wage cap in their Super 15 rugby tournament. And the French, with loads of South Africans and Englishmen and Australians, Argentinians, Kiwis playing in the French league. Very, very high standard league that in France now. And obviously South Africa playing in Paris. I think we're going to put at least 500 Rand on them to win. We've got some fascinating football bets that we can take this weekend, not the least of which is the Telkom KO semi-finals in South Africa, both on Saturday, SuperSport United versus Pirates. We had Kevin Johnson earlier on this show.
Not available at this moment.
We're struggling to get hold of Len, aren't we? Maybe we should just go for Thumper Pigeon. Let's speak to Leon and just check that he's all right with that rugby bet. We've got SuperSport United versus Pirates. Kevin Johnson saying, yep, we can beat them. He's seen how Orlando Pirates have improved during their African crusade to the African Champions League final. Kevin Johnson also saying that, it was great to see South Africa beat Spain, but it's a pity we're not in the World Cup. Very, very interesting interview with Kevin Johnson. Also talking about Jabu Pule, training with him and being an ambassador for SuperSport United, who don't get enough fans. Their second semi-final, they lost to Pirates in the MTN 8 on penalties. They now play Roger de Saar's men on Saturday in Atteridgeville at the Lucas Masterpieces Maripa Stadium. And then the second semi-final, Kaizer Chiefs against Platinum Stars. Kevin Johnson's old side, Alan Freeze's new side, and Platinum Stars, as we all know, getting to cup finals, winning the MTN 8 on penalties against Orlando Pirates, and Kaizer Chiefs slightly overshadowed by Orlando Pirates this season so far because of the African Champions League, looking to get into a final and pick up the Telkom KO. Leon, have I got you there?
Yes.
Leon, nice to speak to you. I have noticed, I've just said this, that your 2 bets, you persuaded me to put money on the Springboks to beat Wales the first week we did this, and you persuaded me to go for a 15-point advantage over Scotland at the weekend. Both of those bets came right. Both of those bets made money using your 5,000, charitable 5,000 Rand. We managed to make a profit. Leon, are you okay if we look at a Springbok win over France, or would you go for some kind of margin, or are you worried about that game in Paris?
No, I'm not worried at all. I've just checked, but I don't see any margin point odds on TopOdds this
so
morning.
we just go straight, yeah?
A straight one is only 4 to 10, so I don't know if you've got any football bets that might have a bit better odds that you...
Oh, I've got some football bets, mate. I've got thousands of them, but they're always more risky. Both in South Africa and in the Premier League in England. Yeah. And I think we saw it with Spain against South Africa during the week. In football, the odds on an upset, I think, are always higher in rugby, the better drilled, heavier, more workmanlike professional side, very rarely do we see huge shocks like, say, the 61st best rugby side in the world, like Bafana in football, beating the world number 1 All Blacks. Just isn't going to happen. But in football, we can see that kind of result. So it does make it a little bit more difficult betting on football. But I've got some great ones. Leon, how do you feel? Didn't you a couple of weeks ago say that you were looking at Southampton going to Arsenal and getting a result?
Yes, I did. That was about 2 weeks ago. I looked at that. And then someone made a few comments regarding a lot of the Southampton players being included in the England squad, which might affect them.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether you think that would or would not.
Well, they've had the two lads, Ricky and Lalula, both playing for England this week. But then most of the Arsenal squad have been out playing international football as well, if not for England, then for other countries. I mean, for God's sake, Per Mertesacker got the winner for Germany against England, and Ozil didn't play in that game, so he keeps fresh. I think it's a fair bet. If you go to www.topodds.com on the internet, go down the green menu, go into the football down the left, and pick out the Premier League, the English Premier League, you'll see that Southampton are quite good odds to get a draw at Arsenal. I mean, long odds. So it would pay us quite nicely. I can just see Arsenal top of the league, starting to get a little bit complacent against a side like Southampton, who've completely overachieved so far this season. I just wonder if Southampton getting a draw at Arsenal, my beloved Arsenal, of course I'm an Arsenal fan, I think I might go for 500 rand on that. What do you think, Leon?
Do you think on a draw instead of a win?
Yeah, Southampton aren't going to win at the Emirates, mate.
You reckon? And then, of course, I think Keegan mentioned about the Everton game as well.
Absolutely massive. 12:45. It's the early kickoff. Actually, that's 2:45 in South Africa. The early kickoff is Everton, who've had the edge over Liverpool in recent years, against a resurgent Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers with their forward line really firing this season. Liverpool serious contenders again for the first time, I think, in a decade. And we're looking at a situation where I think Liverpool will win at Goodison in the Great Mersey Derby, the early game on Saturday. That would be an interesting bet. Liverpool to win at Everton after a couple of years of Everton doing quite well with David Moyes. And then, I don't know, I just feel like Liverpool are the dominant force in the city again for the first time in a couple of years.
Look, Neil, I'm going to leave it to you. I've noticed that comfort becomes very quiet when the segment comes on.
Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah. Okay, I would place my bet on Everton winning because we have more odds on that, and yeah.
Okay. Well, look, Keegan mentioned
Everton
the
only.
Same thing. Keegan is betting on Everton to win.
Yeah. Good. Okay, guys, am I going to be overruled? I'm happy to be overruled. Listen, as long as Everton and Liverpool don't get anywhere near Arsenal at the top of the league this year, I'm happy as anything. I like David Moyes. I think he's a great manager, but since he's left Everton, they're in a position where I just can't see them maintaining, what they were doing under Moyes. That they don't quite have the money behind them. Bill Kenwright, the chairman, doesn't quite have the kind of cash that someone like the Glazers have at Man United and Mourinho at Chelsea. So I can see Everton gradually slipping down to mid-table and Liverpool again, being the big force. But okay, guys, Everton. Should we put money on Everton to win?
I always leave the football choices to you guys. I definitely not going to make that call. I just want to take some pressure for you guys. I'm going to give you 5,000 rand to spend basically.
Yeah.
If you don't make it to 5,000 rand in the winnings, I'll top it up until 5,000. So you won't get less than 5. So. Just to take some pressure off you. If you do lose a bit here and there, don't worry about it.
Just
awesome, Leon.
To our listeners and viewers, this is a man who's just stepped forward and given us money to gamble, to make money for charity, for Wings of Change. I've been to Wings of Change golf tours. I've been out and seen all that. And they really do help people that need help in this country. Leon, I can't thank you enough, mate. I feel under enormous pressure every week when our bet kicks off. I go into
it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be fun. So it's like I said. I mean, if you don't make it to 5, which I'm sure you do, because we had a fantastic first week.
Yeah.
But if you don't, let's make it a minimum of 5.
Leon, you're an absolute giant, mate, and one day we must go into why you are so charitable and why you freely offer up your money for the benefit of other people. I think it's something that we always need to find out about. But Leon, we won't do that this week. We'll put our bets. Comfort and I will discuss this one. I'm starting to go with Comfort. Comfort knows his stuff. He knows his football. He knows the way things are. I think that maybe Everton to win against Liverpool will give us a better return, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it does. It's 2-1 for an Everton win.
So, Leon, it looks to me like we're going to go with 500 rand on Everton to beat Liverpool against current form in a way, and then we're also going to go with South Africa to win in Paris against a France side that won't be lying down by any means.
Good.
Great stuff, Leon, and lovely to speak to you, and thanks again for what you do for us and ultimately for the Wings of Change charity. Thank you.
Anytime, it's my pleasure.
Great stuff.
Thanks,
mate.
Leon.
Thanks,
sure, what a nice... Oh, blimey. What a nice bloke. Guys, can I just update you on the Ashes score? Given my my anti-Australian... Sorry, my England roots. Australia 273 for 8. Stuart Broad, the most maligned man in cricket, 5 for 65. He ends the day with a 5 for Stuart Broad. Plays at Nottinghamshire with my godson Alex Hales, and this lad Stuart Broad takes an awful lot of flack from everyone in the world to go out today on the first day of the Ashes and take 5 wickets, 5 for 65 off 20. I find that quite staggering. I'm just trying to see when Australia were in serious trouble at about 83 for 4, 100 for 5. Broady had taken 4 of those wickets, and he weighed in with the late wicket of Mitchell Johnson. He got 64 to save them. Brad Haddon not out on 78. He's really come to the party at a time when they needed him. Little David Warner, who I met in Pretoria 6 months ago, he got 49. He was the only outstanding early order batsman that we could see. And of course, South Africa playing Pakistan. Apparently, we only play Pakistan these days. I can't quite work out how we play them. Every week we seem to be playing Pakistan, but a good little win last night, rain affected, for the Proteas over Pakistan. Although BOLLOCKZ is all about football, we do keep half an eye on cricket and rugby and the other sports, but obviously football's our big thing. We're going to try and get hold of Rob Shepherd, the grapevine columnist of the Daily Mail. Google him, Google Rob Shepherd and the grapevine column in the Daily Mail. It's a brilliant column, and Rob, having first got him interested, thanks to BOLLOCKZ, in the African Champions League, has also expressed an interest in certain happenings at Soccer City this week. He sent me a text during the week saying, blimey, what's happening? 2 Doncaster players, 1 Bournemouth player, and South Africa have beaten Spain, the world champions. And so, Rob, we'll get on to Rob and just talk about last week's internationals, Ronaldo's hat-trick. Haven't we got a video of the France game as well, Comfort, that we were looking at? France 2-0 down to the Ukraine. Everyone had written them off, except the really wise people, and they came back with a 3-0 win over the Ukraine in Paris. Same ground as the rugby game on Saturday, won't it? It'll be the Saint-Denis Stadium in Paris. I was there at the opening of that stadium, the 1998 World Cup when Scotland played Brazil. I think I was offered £1,000 for my ticket. I didn't take it. I watched that game. That stadium is magnificent, guys, and for France to beat Ukraine 3-0, what a result that was, to go through to the World Cup. We had the final, the BBC are carrying the final list of qualifiers. Uruguay, strange that, a 0-0 draw with Jordan after beating them 5-0 in Jordan. Uruguay became the final side to qualify for the World Cup in Brazil next year. We now know everyone that will be going to the World Cup. We can debate that. We can talk about it. We can look on Twitter at Neil Cole, Nealcol, just to see what's coming in. There's another 7 tweets have dropped in the last 30 seconds. Zuku Gakela Zeka. We as South Africans don't deny we have problems with our football, but does that give Spain the right to do this to us? Of course it doesn't. Danny O'Donnell assuring me that South Africa will get their ranking points for their magnificent win over Spain. And then my cousin, 1975. This is an interesting bloke, South African living in Newcastle, big Newcastle fan. He says over 2.5 goals in Everton-Liverpool game is what he's saying. He says there'll be there'll be 3 or more goals in the Mersey derby, the early kickoff on Saturday. So
this is Bulls Visual Radio.